you?
All right. Good morning.
I feel like it was like Regis and Kathy Lee. No, that's
Really?
really dating me. Like we came in from the sides, like we're so official. Regis and or who is it now? Kelly and Michael? I don't know. We don't watch daytime television, but my mom does, and so I think I've seen them. But I felt like that. Like we're supposed to come in.
Regis is kind of old.
Is Regis still alive? I don't know if Regis. Okay, I guess
Somebody
so.
needs to do a health check on Regis.
Yeah. Good morning, Debbie. Hello. Good morning. I have my phone so I can pay attention here. Tim's gonna try to catch it on his iPad. Sometimes it's slow. Hey, there it is.
Hey, there we are.
Let's make sure your volume's down too. Good morning. Let's see. Juanice. And good morning, Peggy. Everybody's joining. It's good. Don't you think we should be the next Regis and Kelly? Regis and Kathy Lee? Regis and Michael and Kelly? I don't know. Whoever two hosts are. Who are two hosts?
Do you think they'd move the show to Hammond?
They should. And they should have this background, this backdrop. I'm just saying, like, that would be fun.
Aren't we supposed to give away prizes and stuff like that?
We're supposed to give away prizes to the audience?
I don't know how it works.
I don't know. Pick a number, and then I don't know, they call people. We should call people on Fridays. We should call some of y'all and then, like, talking to you as, like, live on the... That would be so fun.
That would be kind of fun.
That would be really fun.
All right, well, we are doing something
Sorry.
kind of like that.
Okay.
A lot of folks in the church got an email yesterday from Nancy that said if you want to send a video greeting to the church, send us the video in. Send it to Nancy. Just a couple moments, just you and your family sitting on the couch, you outside in your yard, wherever it is. Just send a greeting to the church.
Let's do it.
And we're gonna try to
we're gonna fake pretend it, but we're saying it to you right now, so it's really. So what would we say? Like we'd be like, "Hey, Tim and Susan here."
Well, we miss seeing everybody. God bless, and can't wait to be back together.
Wow, that was really fast. I'll probably have more to say than that, but that's because I'm a talker. I'd probably be like, "Hey, Tim and Susan, we are good. All of our people are good." Is that too much?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. But like I missed my Sunday school class and the Wednesday night ladies Bible study. And on the way here this morning, this is a side note. This is not what I would put in the video. But on the way, I just kind of random. But on the way here, I thought of so many of y'all that I was like, oh, I haven't heard from so-and-so. I haven't heard from so-and-so. So I'm just saying, if you're a so-and-so that I haven't heard from, there's a good chance you'll get a text from me later today because I've been thinking about you. But that is sidetracked from the video. Sorry. But
let's get back to the main topic.
Sorry.
Debbie says Regis is still living. So
okay, thank you. That's good. And my mom says that she's in. If there are prizes, she's in. And, okay, Kelly and Ryan are the current people. Wasn't Michael in there sometime? Michael Strahan, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, that guy does a lot of things. Okay, so who else are we saying hi to? Hey, Susie, and I saw my mom was here. She wants prizes. I like
Joanne
that. Marie
wants prizes.
And Lita. Okay, and Cindy's here, and we're straight. We're not sideways. I like that. I mean, she didn't say that, but I can tell that we are because on mine. Regis still alive. Good. Good morning, Christina and Gail. And Joanne, prizes sound like a great idea. Okay.
We still have some leftover Easter eggs.
Next. Personal Easter eggs? No. Like you mean boiled eggs that are like...
No, the ones here at church for the extravaganza.
Listen, next week, if I'm here on Friday, if he invites me back on the next Friday, prizes. That's just fun, y'all. I come on Fridays because I want to have fun. And I want
we could find some things around the church office that we could give away.
We could. I feel like I'm crooked on my chair. Sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, hey, so we're still in quarantine.
We are. Now,
you guys should still be in quarantine as well. That's why you're there and we're here and we're not together all here. We've talked about food. We've talked about hobbies. We've talked about puzzles, crafting, things. And I said, oh, I should ask you, hey, what are you reading? I should be reading something. I'm still currently actually going my second time through the Bible. I'm trying to read and listen through the Bible. This time I'm doing it through the Message paraphrase, just for a different, and doing chronologically instead of books of the Bible. So what are you reading?
Okay, so not quite a spiritual straight reading through the Bible for the second time this year. But I am just trying to spend a little bit of time this break season just trying to think about some church leadership issues. And I'm reading kind of two books at the same time. One of them is called Analog Church. And I just saw this in the last couple weeks and just really, really interested in this title because it's talking about this contrast between digital living and yet what the church offers contrasted to digital, which I think
What is analog?
Well, analog is anything that's not digital, anything that's not
What's an
electronic.
analog clock? Like I just always refer to it as a clock. Would it be a clock with hands? Or is it the clock that like flipped the numbers?
I think the numbers flippings feels more
Does
like
anybody
an analog.
still have one of those clocks? Like I remember growing up, like we had those clocks where the number would like flip.
You could hear it all night long.
Yeah, flip. And like all the minutes would flip. Do you guys know what I'm talking about or am I crazy? But I'm just saying, okay, so that's analog.
Okay, so but analog church is saying,
Yeah.
listen, as much as our culture is moving digitally, and yet some of the things that the church does best are its non-digital things. And so even as we want to take advantage of digital I think can kind of be some of the outer edges of what we do. But at our heart, the best things that we do are going to be the non-digital, non-electronic. It's things that we do in the flesh with one another.
Yeah.
Although with social distancing,
I know that's I'm like
I'm
so
really
but
not supposed
currently
to do that.
but currently I would say is an interesting book that you're reading right now when we're currently doing pretty much
Exclusively.
all digital church right now.
So when we come back, how do we make sure that we make that transition back and we focus on the things that matter most? The other thing that I'm reading is
It's like a super good book to be reading right now.
I'm
Like I
trying
mean,
to,
I'm
yeah.
just saying like it's
Ironically, I'm
applicable.
reading it on a Kindle, so I don't know whether that counts. Because it says, read a book with pages. I'm like, well, I couldn't get to a bookstore, so I downloaded it on my iPad. I'm also reading about discipleship as we think about coming back to church. I want to make sure that as we have this opportunity to reset, that we really make discipleship and growing people in their faith, all the way from lostness to mature in their faith. We want to make that the central thing in the life of our church. So I'm spending some time reading about discipleship because that is the heart of what we want to do. And this just gives us a little bit of time to kind of study something. And so that's what I'm studying in these days.
So are you guys reading anything? I think that, I mean, I am, like I said, I am going through the Bible. I'm reading the Bible. It sounds like such a Sunday school answer, but it's true. But like reading something for other enjoyment or other study or, certain books. I think that's interesting, like what people are reading. I always think like, oh, that sounds good. I should read that. And then let's be honest, I don't ever actually do it. I have great intention, but not always the best follow through.
I used to be a very, very big reader, and
Yeah, no,
I
that's
just
true.
don't.
We did.
Yeah, we used to
Okay.
read a lot. I listened to a lot of stuff on Audible. I just picked up a book from the library online. Audible
Hoopla.
book. Yeah,
Hoopla?
yeah.
Through the library. He had to order a library card, which of course we couldn't go get it because of the library, but they sent it to you in the mail. The Tangipahoa Parish Library. I don't know. It was a whole new thing
So,
for us.
but I just started this morning listening to a book about polar exploration. It's really cool.
That was such a bad joke, y'all. Okay, let me see. I'm checking in. Who has said? Okay, Mike has joined us. Good morning, Mike. Brenda, I love the idea to spin a wheel to win free Oreos, of course. Except I think we're currently, again, somehow, I wasn't here last Friday because it was Good Friday, so he was out of the cross doing the Hope Moment for last Friday. As a side note, if you go back and watch the video, I was holding the camera, it was on the tripod, but that was the day that was so windy, I was actually holding it and I was like this. So I'm just saying, I was out there, but that was a more serious day, so I was not part of that. Previous to that, we had been out of Oreos. So 2 weeks ago on Friday, we were out of Oreos. In the meantime, we have bought a pack of Oreos. They are now gone. We are currently again out of Oreos. But it's not that we went without for 2 weeks.
We should have a flag that we put up in front of our house that says we have Oreos or we're out of Oreos.
People would know, like, send Oreos.
You took the last Oreos yesterday
I did.
for your ice cream mix.
I did, because when I asked on Facebook, like, about ice cream toppings or whatever, one of the best ones that came up, in my opinion, was the crushed Oreos. And I was like, I told Tim we had 4 Oreos left in that pack last night. And I was like, dude, do you want these? And he was like, no, it's fine. So I crushed them all and I put them in my vanilla ice cream.
Don't worry about me. I had one of my last Cadbury caramel eggs.
That's true.
So it's not
Yeah.
like I was like,
We didn't
oh
go
no,
without.
you
Yeah.
go and have yours. But I had
But
that.
look, if we're out of Cadbury caramel eggs, we're out of Oreos, we're out of ice cream. That was the last of the ice cream. I'm just saying we will be thinner people next week. Okay, let's see. April's here. Good morning. And a whole bunch of people have joined in. We're glad to see you. We're glad you're here. Debbie is reading, which was actually on the topic of things that we were actually talking about. Karen Kingsbury series. What series? Karen Kingsbury has a ton of series. I don't think I've actually read any of them, but I know a lot of people who are big fans. I just never have. But I don't know why I've read all around her books, but I haven't read her books. I might have read one or two now. So, okay, what do we have next? Oh, hey, this is a side. Listen, when I come, I just talk. Sorry, you just get all the extras. But it really is I haven't talked to people all week long except for Tim. So then I'm I have a lot to say to y'all.
So when we do a video, I'm like, listen, we'll just wing it. Susan says, no, we need a plan. We need to work out the list and stuff like that. But then as soon as we get here, the list is out the window. I don't know why we made the list.
I know, but on my way here, I have lots of thoughts because you're driving in the car and it's quiet and I have lots of thoughts. And I was like, hey, I want to know how long. First, I do want to know what you're reading. We do want to know what you're reading. So Keith, you can put that in the comments. Oh, let's see. Is it regular? Wait, then I get distracted. The Baxter Family, that's a good series. Mike asks, is it regular Oreos, thin, or double stuffed? It is always
double stuffed.
Double stuffed.
Yeah.
Always double stuffed Oreos. And then my mom says that my aunt is here watching. So, hey, Aunt Elsie. Okay. Back on topic, that's completely off topic. I want to know who has cut their hair and who has waited to get their hair cut. Who has cut their hair in their house, or if somebody else has cut your hair. And I want to know how long Tim's going to go until he gets his hair cut. I'm just saying, that was my thought this morning of am I going to cut Tim's hair? Should I? I need the public's opinion, our congregation, a public opinion on should I cut his hair or not, next week when his hair gets long. Just let us know yes or no, if I should take this challenge. And then I think we should do Facebook Live at home, not on a Friday Hope Moment because it's not church related. I just think that's funny. I just came to talk funny stuff. I'm sorry, I just came to talk Oreos.
So
and ice cream
you're
and
excited
haircuts.
about the idea of cutting my hair.
I'm like, let me just try. Let me try. How bad can it be? And honestly, y'all, we're not going to see you for several more weeks. Let's be honest about that. And so I'm like, if it's bad, it has time to grow back, right? I don't know. Hey, do you have anything from Philippians?
I do have
we should
a
get back
word,
on topic.
From Philippians. We're looking at Philippians, our quarantine epistle. If you have your Bible with you, it'd be great for you to pull that out for us. We're in Philippians chapter 3 right now. We are in this section that Paul has been talking about some of the difficulties that we face. They are both external in terms of opponents, but there are also internal things that we struggle with. We talked on Wednesday in verses 12 to 16 about Paul says, I'm going to strain on, I'm going to push, I'm going to press on. I'm not going to go backwards where I'm going. Remember the roller coaster story?
Yes,
The click, click, click,
yes.
click. We want to keep hearing that click, click, click of our spiritual lives. But we pick it up here in chapter 3 and verse 17. It says, brothers, join in imitating me and keep your eyes on those who walk according to the example you have in us. For many of whom I have often told you, and now tell you even with tears, walk as enemies of the cross of Christ. Their end is destruction, their God is their belly, and their glory is in their shame, with their minds set on earthly things. Man, there's a great deal of conviction in those passages, particularly after we talked for 20 minutes about Oreos. But our citizenship is in heaven, and from it we await a Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, who will transform our lowly body to be like His glorious body by the power that enables Him even to subject all things to Himself. Therefore, my brothers, whom I love and long for, this is why it's our quarantine epistle. My brothers for whom I love and long for, my joy and crown, stand firm thus in the Lord, my beloved. Now, verse 2 of chapter 4 says, I entreat Euodia and I entreat Syntyche to agree in the Lord. Yes, I also ask you, true companion, help these women who have labored side by side with me in the gospel together with Clement and the rest of my fellow workers whose names are in the book of life. Just a handful of things to look at in this passage. In this passage, I want you to see that there are people that we are to lead, There are people that we are to follow, and that there are people that we are to help. Paul says, join in imitating me. Paul has an obligation that says, I'm going to live my life in a way that if you will stick close to me, you will grow spiritually.
Is this the place where he says, follow me as I follow Christ?
This is the same concept. He doesn't
That's
say that
what I'm
exact
like,
words
it's
here.
different, but he says that someplace
says
else.
it several times.
Yeah.
He says that one of the best ways for discipleship is to follow someone who's following Jesus. And so we've done this, in a crowd with our kids or something like that. We just say, stick close to me. Hold my hand.
Right.
You're going to be safer if you stick close to me.
Right.
And so Paul says we need to be living our lives in a way that says, stick close to me, and you're going to grow spiritually. So there are people that we lead. There are also people that we follow. He says, join in imitating me, and keep your eyes on those who walk according to the example you have in us. He says there's a bunch of folks that are walking close to Christ. Follow those folks.
Right.
I said this months ago on a Sunday morning message. Move where you sit on Sunday morning and sit close to someone that you want to be more like spiritually. Get to know them. Find out who they are and measure them. So there are people that we're supposed to lead. There are people that we're supposed to follow. And then there's people that we're supposed to help. There's just this tiny little phrase here in chapter 4 and verse 2 and 3, the story of Euodia and Syntyche. And the impression that we get of Euodia and Syntyche is that they are two godly women who have served in the church, and they have served Christ, and they are just bedrocks in that church in Philippi. But for some reason, there is a division between them, and there is a conflict between them. And Paul writes to the people in Philippi, maybe to a very specific individual, and says, listen, would you get in there? And would you just help those two get this thing sorted out? And sometimes it's because of conflict that we need someone to come in and help us. Sometimes it's because we're dealing with doubt. Sometimes we're dealing with discouragement. Sometimes we've just got a puzzle that we can't figure out. But there are times in which we need someone to come and help us. It's the reason why together matters. It's the reason why we have worship service in a church that gathers together. It's the reason why we have small groups. Because as much as there's a lot of things we can do online, and you can hear good preaching online, everybody's listening to Charles Stanley on Sunday mornings and things like that. As much as you can get good preaching, what you can't get is the relationships of a church. And so when we have the opportunity to come back, make sure that you're here. Because there are people that we're supposed to lead. There's people that we're supposed to follow. There are people that we're supposed to help. When the Word of God talks about the church and the people of Christ, He describes it as a family, as a body, as a building. All of those are plural images that take small pieces, but they get their full identity when they are combined with other pieces. So you can't be a building by yourself. You're only a building as you're combined with other parts of that building.
So but everything you're saying, as you're saying it, I'm like, I wanted to interject between everything, but I didn't because that's his time. So I'm like, but I'm really biting my tongue because I just have a lot to say. But how do we do that while we're separated? How do we do that? How do we, you said move and find, I guess I just find it really ironic too, we're in this sanctuary that's completely empty, as we are on Fridays, but move to sit next to somebody. How do we do that for the next weeks while we're still separated, while we're still quarantined? How do we find who to follow? How do we find who to lead? How do we find who to help?
Well, I think what we do is that we lean into our church experience from before the quarantine or the shutdown. The things that we've seen here at church is the people who are doing quarantine best in terms of small groups and things like that are the people who were doing small groups best beforehand. And so some of it, you can't go back into a time machine and redo that.
Right.
But lean back. Lean back into those relationships. You can call, you can text, you can engage, you can ask somebody a question. We have folks who are doing some discipleship together, sometimes with some distance, sometimes with some close but not,
Not close like this.
Yeah.
Close like this. Yeah.
but you can still lean into those. But
Right.
probably those folks that you're going to lean into the most are and should be the people that you had relationships here physically with. And so lean back into those and know that those are going to have to be recharged when we come back together.
Mm-hmm.
And that we will, one of the great words that Scripture gives us from Ephesians chapter 5, it says, submit yourselves to one another. And that's one of the great tasks of a church, is where I
Right.
put your needs in front of mine.
Right.
And that's how we build relationships. Relationships happen when we put each other's needs before
Mm-hmm.
our own. And so, yes, we can do this now,
Right.
but
right.
it's being fed from being together and submitting our lives to one another. And some of that is a little bit of a risk when you take the level of your relationship deeper than water cooler conversation. Did you see that game? Did you watch
Right,
that
right.
show? How are your kids doing? That's a surface that we go to. But when we say, what are you praying about? How can I pray for you?
Yeah.
Or if we come to someone who's more mature than we are and say, hey, can you explain prayer to me? Can you tell
But
me
a
how
lot
you
of that,
pray?
don't you feel like a lot of that, the surface, the water cooler conversation has been stripped away? Because it's like, I can call, I call my grandmother and check in every day, but usually it would be like, okay, well, how did your day go, and who did you see, and what part of the building did you go to, and what activity did you attend? And right now she's quarantined to her room. So when you're calling, it's like, okay, we either have to go to something deep or we have to find something. There's no water cooler conversation. There's no lighthearted, like, hey, how's your day? Oh, hey, was the grocery store crowded? Hey, how about that movie that came out? Like, that's all been taken away. So it's really, we either keep having the same conversations day after day. Hey, how are you? I'm okay. Okay, good, great. See you tomorrow. Check in. Or it goes to a depth. It's just so different right now.
Still difficult to move to spiritual depth.
Well, yeah.
And I think that even now, I think we want to just keep it the surface. I can't fully explain that. I don't necessarily know that quarantine feels like what I expected it to.
Interesting. That is another interesting conversation. I mean, that just sounds like an interesting conversation.
I think
for another
that
day.
I think my expectation is that I expected that quarantine would have gone deeper, and I'm not really sensing or feeling.
What do you mean by that? Like, explain that.
We would have gotten more introspective.
Oh, okay.
We would have slowed down.
I think that's true, but I have found in the last few days, I think people are becoming more honest about how overwhelmed they are in it. That it's not just everything has been stripped away, and so like life got really simple. I think for some people it has, but I think for majority of people, the worries, the concerns, the fears, the cares are such weight on them that to lay that aside, to then get deeper in their Bible study, to get deeper in their walk, to get deeper in phone calls and conversations of depth and everything, that is heaviness that right now I feel like walking through some of these days are really heavy. Families who have sick people, families in the medical field, like doing things, I feel like there's such heaviness to add the weight. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse not to do it.
And I think that that seeking spiritual depth does require this intentionality, does require this breaking through a wall to get to.
It does, yeah.
And that feels more difficult in this season than I expected. I expected that wall would have gotten thinner and it would have been easier to break through. But I think just because of some of the anxiety, because of all the change, because of the
heaviness
unknown,
and weight and unknown.
and
That's it.
And I think some of it is, I think we are trying to keep, we're not putting weight any place. I think we want to just kind of not get too heavy in any place so that we can twist, turn, be flexible as to whatever happens next. Because we don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
We don't want to commit in any direction at all because, like, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be matter?
Right.
Now, to put on my put on my preacher hat for a moment, if we invest in the things that are eternal, that's going to matter no matter what the page turns to.
Right.
But it is hard for us because just like the passage talks about, we do get pulled to the things of this earth. Our belly.
I put the last roll of toilet paper in, we have a toilet paper holder in our bathroom, and all of a sudden I took the last roll out of the holder and put it on the little rack, on the little spool, I don't know what it's all called. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I took it out of the holder and I put it on the spool, and I was like, oh, that's the last.
Over, not under.
Over.
Okay.
Over. And I was like, who knew that you could go to a place of oh no, that was the last roll of toilet paper. And now we never hoarded toilet paper to begin with. But there was things of this earth, that's really stupid. Why am I worried about this? I don't understand. Now, they have some at the store. It's okay. If you need some, I'll tell you which store has it. But it's just one of those things where I think dealing with
so let's
the
try
things
to,
of this earth.
Let's try to just do a quick application. Just as we talk about this, it's easy to talk about. Let me try to do a quick application. My challenge to you today is to find one thing to do that runs deeper than the surface. Whether that be a prayer time, whether that be a contact, whether that be a conversation, whether that be turning off electronics and getting in the Word, whatever it is, would you intentionally break through the numbness of the way in which we're filling our time and just choose one thing today to go deeper than what you do? Whether it's contacting some people, some conversations, just some prayer, time in the Word, just be quiet. Just do something today that runs deeper than what the natural instinct is to run.
I think yesterday I did that. Yesterday morning, you were home, working from home, and I just had my music on super loud in the bedroom and stuff, because I was like, I'll go in this space, but it was just worship, praise and worship and music, and it was like, oh, I told Tim, this has been a really good day, and it was noon, and why does it feel like a really good day? But I think I had spent that time really being quiet in my soul and not chasing after the things in the to-do list or whatever, and just being quiet.
Yeah, I sat
even though the music was really loud.
I sat in the backyard.
Yeah, you did.
I got my stuff done, and I got a little red in the face.
Yeah, that's true.
But it was good.
Yeah.
So let me just a couple other announcements to pay attention.
Are we going long? Are we talking too long? But I have to go over before you get to announcements. As a side note, I've been watching the haircut evaluations here. I just want to say there have been some people are waiting for the haircuts. Some people are waiting for the color. I understand that. Y'all, the funniest.
Wait, are they saying I need color?
No, not you need color. I'm just saying. Debbie cut her hair herself this week. I'm like, that's amazing. I love that. My mom said we could go get a haircut on the back porch. So I don't know. We'll just stay tuned. We're gonna see. Eventually, it's gonna have to get cut. I don't know. I think I can do it, y'all. I think I can cut it there. We'll see. Okay, I just wanted to wrap that part up before we go on. But we do have announcements on a weekly basis. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. There's a Hope Moment.
Yes.
By various staff. At 2 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Whitney comes on and does Whitney's World for kids. And I watch it almost every day because it's just really interesting. It's a good time. So if you haven't seen that, you've been missing that, just sign on and talk to everybody. It's a really good time to visit with everybody. Church. Wait, what's church this Sunday? We're going to go back to the...
One service at 10 o'clock.
One service at 10 a.m. So that was just special for Resurrection Sunday last week.
Right.
What else is happening?
The other thing is just, again, if you want to send your video greeting to the church, you can do that by sending that to Nancy@woodlandparkonline.com. You can text me if you need to get information about that, but Nancy@woodlandparkonline.com. A quick video greeting. We'll use those over the next several weeks. We probably won't get all of that into one service, but man, you want to see and hear from people other than just our staff and family and things like that. So video greetings, and then the virtual worship service. That's tonight.
I don't even know what that is. I was like, you should probably explain that, because I don't know what that is.
Virtual worship gathering tonight at 6 p.m. Various folks from our music ministry have recorded different pieces. And so we've put all of those together so you will hear people doing special music from other parts of the life of the church. Again, folks that maybe you haven't heard from in a while. I'm not sure how many folks are in that, but it's tonight at 6 p.m.
They got it planned. It's going to be good.
Yeah, Brian's going to lead us through that. And so sign online for that.
So no one is coming here for that?
No.
No, it is not in the parking lot. It's not. It's a virtual, online. Everybody sign on just like this.
Yes.
And then we can still talk to each other, even though it will not be live. So we won't be interacting with the people on the screen, but we'll be interacting with each other like you do in the comments here, right? Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
it's recorded pieces that have been put together.
I'm gonna work. Amy says I should cut it Facebook Live. I know that's what I said. Like next Friday. I'm like, I don't know. Stay tuned. He won't let me do it, but I'm tempted. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Tonight, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock tonight. Yeah, video greetings, virtual worship service, Whitney today at 2 o'clock. And Michael will have Sunday school lesson at 10 o'clock tomorrow, or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then we'll do church. So it's all good.
Those Sunday school lessons are really good. I know that not everybody has been in the book of Romans in your curriculum before this, but now it's been so long, like jump into the Sunday school class and watch Michael's lesson on Romans. It's been really good. I don't know, he's a really good teacher.
Yeah,
He's
Michael
a good
does a
teacher.
lot of different things here at church, and he handles so many things, but he has, at his core, is a great teacher of the word.
Right.
And so it's an opportunity to hear him, be fed by him in that way. So sign on to that Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock.
That's it.
All right,
think
that's
we're
it.
done.
We love you,
I'm gonna
and
go push the bus.
we're done.